And you can't get hung up on the things you don't find. You just enjoy the things you do, like this awesome painted canyon in front of us. You know, if I were a dinosaur fossil, I'd want to be here. Whoa, that's a monster. Right. So a lot of the three-toed tracks you see are dilophosaurs. Even that pillar erodes away and the rock falls down on me, apparently. But there's a reason they're here and not somewhere else, which looks almost like a camera.
It's the live feed for Instagram. No humans have been here in a long time.
On the road we're out and racing, on a routine expedition. Now the deepest cavern ever known. Down on the rapids, it's up in tiny raft. It goes on down 1,000 feet below. Lost in plain
Cameron, Arizona.
Cameron, Arizona, on the way up 89A to Marble Canyon. This is the Little Colorado River here. The Little Colorado is the main drainage that runs into the Grand Canyon. And interestingly enough, the whole northeastern third of the state, any drop of water that falls there flows into the Grand Canyon by way of the Little Colorado. You would think that the Little Colorado would be a whole lot bigger than it is, but the land just sucks that moisture up. And this is the old 89 bridge over the canyon. People talk about Route 66 being the mother road, right? Going from Chicago to LA. 89A was the other mother road going from Mexico to Canada. It passes next to or goes through 7 national parks. And like Route 66, it was originally just 1 lane and then 2 lanes. Now, it's a huge highway. This is one of the original bridges. Unfortunately, we can't walk across it anymore, but that would be cool. I just love the architecture of this. Blending mid-century elements from the 1920s on up with the traditional architectural style of the Navajo Nation. It's really cool.
And check out the stairs on the side of the building.
Love the stairs.
Love that.
So much. I don't know if I trust the stairs, but oh my God, do I love the stairs.
It would be a memorable way to fall to your death.
It would. Of course, this was built when it wasn't a massive highway coming through here. It was just an outpost in the middle of nowhere. Silver casing. Just keep it rolling. There's just giant hunks of petrified wood just sitting here. This may seem like a weird thing, but my favorite part of the Cameron Trading Post is the post office. I'll show you why. The patterns in the sandstone here, you've got ocean ripple marks, desert sand dune waves, all the remnants of an ancient desert are all here. You've got little tracks of creatures that made their way over the sand dunes. I've looked for larger dinosaur tracks here, but haven't found any. But here you've got little tunnels created by little ancient creatures tunneling their way through the sand. I love looking at this wall when I come through. Stop at the bathroom, look at the wall. So we're right on the edge of the Navajo Nation along 89. So this side is Navajo Nation and this side is not. So it's 11:55 on the right side of the road, and it's 10:55 on the left-hand side of the road, which is kind of challenging when you're out here exploring on either side of the highway. Thankfully, we don't have to catch a movie or anything, so it comes out all right.
On the edge of the painted desert, there is no sound. I've never been any place so quiet. There are no trees, no creatures, no people. We wander for miles into the Navajo Nation, and when we stop, the silence reveals the sound of your heartbeat. The land is stark, endless, and addictive.
We're wandering out here. How far do you think we've hiked? About 2 miles, 3 miles?
Probably about 3 miles.
We are in the early Jurassic period.
And boy, are my arms tired. No, wrong joke.
We've been looking out here for fossilized tracks, other kinds of cool fossils. So far, we haven't found anything. But you know what? We always have fun looking. And what a beautiful day. What an awesome canyon. It hasn't seen foot traffic in who knows how long.
Maybe 180 million years if we find some dinosaur tracks.
So you remember the Dilophosaurus from Jurassic Park? Guy with the 2 crests that put his frills out. That's not really a Dilophosaurus. Dilophosaurus didn't have those frills. It didn't spit poison, and it was a whole lot bigger. The Dilophosaurus was about 23 feet long. It was actually the largest land animal in North America 180 million years ago. And the very first one was found out here in 1940 by a Navajo man, and several others were discovered as well. But if we don't see a Dilophosaurus today, it's not the worst thing in the world. Still a pretty awesome hike. You know, if I were a dinosaur fossil, I'd want to be here.
We should let them know.
Oh, that's the end of our canyon.
Hello.
All right, well, cool. Go this way. Bob Kitty. So we didn't find any dinosaurs out in the wild. So we're gonna do a sure thing. We're gonna go visit the Moenave dinosaur tracks outside of Tuba City, where for a small amount of money, a very nice Navajo guide will give you a nice tour around and see the tracks. It's a pretty cool spot. One of the wildest things about it is right as you step out of the car, you see dinosaur tracks almost immediately. This is amazing. They just start right away.
Tracks right here, these big ones.
Yeah.
Nation is empty.
Whoa, that's a monster.
See, that's the right, this is the left one here.
So a lot of the 3-toed tracks you see are Dilophosaurs. They really kind of had a monopoly on this area. So the small ones, big ones. Now it's a desert. Dry as can be. Hardly any rain. But this area has been a seashore, it's been a forest, it's been thick jungle, it's been sand dunes. Throughout the last 180 million years, it's been all these different kind of climates. Like any climate you can find on Earth, it's been. It's a wild thought. And the only reason these are still here, it's so dry. But you envision another 100 years of people walking on these things and they might not be here for a whole lot longer. How terrifying would it be if chickens were 23 feet long and nearly 1,000 pounds? You ever seen a chicken chase down a bug or a mouse? It's horrifying. They're absolutely savage beasts. I don't think we would have stood a chance in the early Jurassic, or the late Jurassic, or the Cretaceous, or the Triassic. You'd pretty much be screwed at any point before mammals took over at the end of the Cretaceous. Of course, we don't know exactly what dinosaurs made these tracks. We can just make a guess based on the anatomy of the dinosaurs, because of course, unless one walked off and then left a skeleton there, there's not much to go on.
And look at this whole big long set of tracks right here. It's a whole field of them.
Wow.
Our destination is Marble Canyon, the upper end of Grand Canyon National Park below Glen Canyon Dam. Built in 1929, Navajo Bridge is one of only 7 bridges that crosses the Colorado in 750 miles.
You see that they built this bridge in 2 sections? They built the 2 sides coming to meet in the middle, and then they just pulled it closer. This bridge is 467 feet above the Colorado River.
Hold the horse. Hold the horse.
We are heading to Lee's Ferry to launch, take a trip up to Glen Canyon Dam, and float back down on the kayaks. This landscape is, I mean, we both lived most of our lives in this area, and it's still just jaw-dropping.
Every time the sun rises, it's absolutely amazing.
And every time the sun sets. Hey, what's down there?
Every time in between.
What's down that canyon?
Ooh, canyon, canyon, canyon.
Look at these rocks over here. Big honking rocks. Okay, we gotta pull over and look at these. They're too cool. Hey, ask that question about how'd the rocks get here.
How'd the rocks get here, Ron?
Well, they came from up there. But they roll down onto this plain, which is made of a much softer soil than the rocks. So they roll down on the plain when the plain was way up here. But you get a few thousand years of rain that then washes away this layer underneath, leaving just these pillars. And so it erodes away everything but the little pillar holding the rock. And of course, eventually, even that pillar erodes away and the rock falls down on me, apparently. You know, a couple more rainstorms, a few thousand years of rainstorms on this sediment, and it'll wear away. It's a real Coyote Roadrunner landscape, isn't it?
It is the Coyote Roadrunner landscape.
Of course, Roadrunners don't say meep meep.
Unfortunately.
No, they don't. And they're not really very big.
No,
They're
but
like
they are.
chicken size, but they're super smart.
They're pretty badass.
Wow, look at this place. You're not looking hard enough. Look at it. Look at it. Crazy that it's Saturday morning and there's nobody out here.
We're out here.
Are we somebody?
Nah.
Ow.
We hired Dale, the owner of Kayak Colorado, to haul us and our kayaks upriver so we could float back down to Lee's Ferry. Blasting up Marble Canyon in a powerboat is quite the experience, and it's well worth the slow, leisurely float back to the boat ramp at Lee's Ferry.
Alright, See all the people lined up there? I mean, you probably can't in the camera. But that's where they all go to pay 10 bucks and take the same picture. Costs $10 to park.
They saw
So
47 million
they saw
people
47
actually.
million cars parked times $10. That's $470 million in profits there.
For a parking lot.
Like only 20 years ago, that was just a dirt lot on the side of the road. And you'd walk to Horseshoe Bend. And hardly anybody really knew much about it. And then Instagram happened. And now, $470 million and 47 million cars later.
That's a $470 million cliff
Per year.
per year.
And didn't Dale say that it's now one of the most photographed spots in the whole world?
Yeah, they estimate over 100 million people a year take photographs from there.
Like more people take pictures of Horseshoe Bend than the South Rim of the Grand Canyon or Sedona or the Washington Monument or really anywhere.
And it's all the exact same photo from the exact same point.
Yes. In fact, I've only been there once, but I really enjoyed taking pictures of all the people taking pictures of Horseshoe Bend. More than the view itself. Which, I mean, it is admittedly spectacular. It is a very iconic, spectacular view. But really, that's all it is. I kind of like this view, looking up.
Yeah.
Because we're standing in the middle of ancient sand dunes, crossed by dinosaurs, 180 million years ago, and now they're rocks, which will eventually become sand again. Oh, look at the sheep at the bottom. I didn't even see those guys. So, in the past, people would always speculate on what these things meant. You know, they'd say, well, these are goats and these are this and these are that. And they'd say, or maybe it was just graffiti. But there's a reason this is in this particular spot, looking this way, facing the rising sun. And eventually when people started actually talking to the tribes and the elders in the tribes, they started to realize, oh man, these have meaning to them. They have very specific meaning, because to carve something like that in a wall that specifically takes a long time. It takes a lot of pecking away at that rock. And you're not going to spend that time doing that sort of thing unless you have something important to say. But what's interesting about that is that the more people learned about this, the more they're starting to realize that this wasn't just representations of animals and beings and shaman. This was a form of communication, writing like hieroglyphs. If a sheep is facing downhill, that means one thing. If he's got all four legs on the ground, that means one thing. If he's got one leg up or two legs up, that means something else. If he has one short horn or two long horns, the longer the horns are, that means something different. They're a form of writing kind of like hieroglyphs. And if you ask the Hopi elders or the Navajo elders, they can say this means this and this means that. But for a long time, nobody ever just thought to ask.
Do you think these are from different eras?
Yes.
Like these seem a lot more sophisticated over here than
if I
these
can
do
cast
over
my
here.
shadow over here, like these guys down at the bottom, they're all walking along the bottom, but they're also a little more faded than the ones a little higher. And then if you see this big horn that's got the square body up there, up the wall, I can't get my shadow high enough to point to it. But that guy's much more faded, more layers of desert varnish on that one, which means he's significantly older. And our guide Dale was saying that some of these petroglyphs are like 7,000 years old, which is pretty incredible. And then some of them might be, you know, only a few hundred years old.
There seems to be a difference in the level of sophistication too between these and more simpler forms. I don't know if these are older or just done by different people or different era.
Or just on rock that wasn't as durable.
Yeah.
But if you look around the canyon, there's so much rock that has these perfect flat faces and dark varnish on them. So you could put petroglyphs all over the place. But there's a reason they're here and not somewhere else. Maybe it's the nature of the sound as it moves around, like how it sounds when you're here. Maybe it has to do with orientations to the sun and the stars. It's not about us looking at these, it's about these looking out. What did they see when they look out from this wall? Because certainly in the Hopi tradition, if you carve something or you create an effigy, that becomes a living being, and it has its own voice and its own thoughts and its own spirit. So you are creating the spirit from the rock. Can't imagine what that represents. It's something very specific, and I've never seen it anywhere else before.
Oh, those are the Colorado River dolphins.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, never mind.
With all those chemtrails, it kind of smells like boron or barium around here.
Oh, for God's sake, would you shut up? Hard to believe we are at the bottom of the most photographed spot in the U.S. And it's so nice and quiet. Some powerful floods must come through this area, but there isn't anything to this tree.
That's so far our second tree this trip.
Look at the flood debris up high in the branches up here. Way up high. Pretty much to the top, there's all flood debris. This doesn't flood very often, but when it does, oh my gosh, you don't want to be here. Because floods in the southwest are not just water, they're mud and silt and debris, rocks.
It's always fun to see a tree branch or a tree trunk 60 feet above you in a canyon.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Look at that alcove way up there. See, in a couple million years, that'll be an arch if enough of it wears away. On the other side, you'll have a nice bridge there.
And that's why it's Waterhole Canyon.
There's our first water hole. Okay. Huh.
I think that's probably the end of the 1.5 miles or whatever that they anticipate most people will walk.
I ain't drinking it. I think these are flow meters. I think there's a float in here that slides up and down depending on how much flow there is. There's one down low and there's one up high. And then there's this, which looks almost like a camera, some kind of monitor, so they can monitor when this creek floods.
It's the live feed for Instagram.
Right?
Nice duck face. So this is the secret canyon that nobody hikes.
And I'm not going to tell you where it is, so don't ask.
It's next door to your mom's house, isn't it?
Yeah. Look at these little pebbles in the rock, and the water flow has just directed them. This is a very unusual canyon.
No humans have been here in a long time. You can see where the water just pours through here.
I was scouting up here because these spots at the mouth of the canyon could be good sites for petroglyphs. Not a petroglyph, but it might be an old farmer rancher inscription here. MJP maybe? Looks too old to be just random graffiti. Seriously, half and half. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. We had a great time here on Navajo land in the area around Marble Canyon. Thanks to the Navajo people for being such gracious hosts. It's a gorgeous day, but we have to go back home, go to work, all that stuff. If you liked what you saw, leave us a comment, leave us a like. Tell us what we need to do next. Tell us how we did. Tell us what we got wrong. We're always open to hear it. Like that. Back to day jobs. What you gonna do?